pushes me up against his Jeep. I hit my head on the car. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Jenny, and today I'm going to be telling you guys a story about a really weird guy that I went on some dates with. So yeah, it's kind of hilarious. My friends think it's super funny and they bring it up all the time, so I thought I would share it on YouTube. And if you want to hear the story, then go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, disclaimer, I'm not using any real names in this video, so yeah. Okay, so this story I'm gonna kind of start after we already had gone on a first date. Basically, the gist of this is that my friend, let's call her Kelly, goes to a different school, and she was a sophomore at this time and I was a freshman, and she was like, hey, I'm talking to this senior and do you want to go on a double date with like him and his best friend? Let's call her date Jonathan, my date Ethan. Okay, so we go to a haunted house. It was kind of weird. Ethan was like copying every little romantic thing that Jonathan was doing, but in like the most awkward way. Like Jonathan would like wrap his arms around my friend Kelly and like stand behind her. He would do that exact same thing, except for he would be too far away that I would like feel like I was gonna fall, and it was just like so uncomfortable of a position for me to stand in. And then like at the haunted house, I was like, I'll be in front because I like being in front at haunted houses because I don't get scared if I go in the front, because they never want to scare the person in the front because then it ruins like the scare for the people in the back, you know? I'm like, please let me be in the front. He's like, babe, I can protect you, like let me be in front. I'm like, no, it's fine. And he like wrapped his arms around me the whole time, like hid behind me during this haunted house, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. And it was just like awkward. We go to IHOP, eat dinner, he pays for me, which is like fine. I'm like, okay, this is like the gentleman thing to do, I'll let him pay for me. And then we drive back to my house because Kelly was spending the night at my house. Kelly and Jonathan were having a really good time and they were being all like romantic and cute. I was like, good job, Kelly, like you found yourself a really hot boy. And then me and Ethan were just not really hitting it off. And like we're getting ready to go inside my house, and then Kelly and Jonathan like walk over to this corner, like make out a little bit, and then he like looks at me and I'm like, oh god, like he's about to make out with me. And I'm like, this is not my first kiss, but I was just like, don't really want to make out with this guy because I'm not feeling it. And so he leans in, and there was something about the way he kisses that was just so weird, and I wish I could remember what it was, but the whole time that we were making out, I was just thinking, okay, like I'm ready to go inside. Kelly, can you stop making out with Jonathan so I can stop making out with Ethan so I can go inside? Like, I did this for you, girly. Like, I'm kind of over it. So finally, they're done making out, and I'm like, hey, like I gotta go, like curfew and all that. So we like go inside my house, and then a few weeks later, Kelly's like, hey, you want to go on a date again with me, Ethan, and Jonathan? And I was like, you know, I'm not really into him. And she's like, please, like it'll be fine. I was like, okay. And so they showed up to our cheer show off, and I was like, oh god, like I'm so embarrassed because I just didn't want them to be there. And then Kelly was like, hey, we're gonna go out to dinner afterwards, like you need to come with us. And I was like, oh, like I can't. And then my mom was like, no, it's fine, you can go out on a date with them. And I was just like, God, Lord, why do you do these things to me? So we go to this pizza place, still awkward vibes between me and Ethan. It's like weird. And I don't remember if this was the exact date that this occurred, but let's just say it was so freaking weird. We're sitting in the back seat, me and Ethan, holding hands. I'm like, okay, like I can do this. I can get through this date for Kelly. Like maybe this will be the last time I have to go out with him. Because the thing about Ethan was, I was getting like conflicted because over text he was like the sweetest person ever. He would like send me good night paragraphs, like good morning paragraphs. He was just like really clingy, but it wasn't in like an annoying clingy way at the time. And so I was like, maybe our first date was just weird because like weird vibes on the first date. And I was like, he seems like a really sweet guy. Like he would always tell me I was so beautiful and he didn't understand how he got a girl like me. like stuff like that. I was like, this is a really nice guy. And so I'm like, okay, like I should just keep giving this guy another chance. And so we're riding from the pizza place to go hang out at Kelly's school, because me and Kelly didn't go to the same school, so she already knew these guys because they went to her school, but I didn't know them. So me and Ethan are sitting in the back seat, we're holding hands, and then suddenly he leans over to me, and I'm like, oh God, what is this about to be? And he goes like this, I kid you not. Pulls my hair back once, pulls it back twice, pulls it back a third time, and goes, you are the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. This is me sitting here with my hair behind my ear. Thanks. Like literally trying so hard not to crack up. Like that was the most awkward thing. And he probably thought it was like really sweet too, which was like the sad part. But it was just weird. Like if it was like one time, I guess it would be okay. But it still was like, why you gotta pull on my hair, man? Like that was weird. And then he like kept doing weird stuff like that. Like he would just always bring up how it was like so beautiful, which is like flattering, but it's annoying after people do it like a million times. I'm just like, I get it, thanks. Can we talk about something else? Like have a real conversation, like not about my looks. This is when things got really weird. We drove to Kelly's school to hang out until we had to go home. Our curfew was like 9 because it was school night or something. And so Kelly and Jonathan walk off. They're like holding hands, making out, having a great time. Me and Ethan walk off. I'm like, great, I really don't want to be alone with him. So we're walking, we're holding hands, and we like walk back to his Jeep because he drove, and he drove that time. So maybe that wasn't the time that he like pulled my hair back. I don't know. That was one time. But this specific time that I remember, we were hanging out at a school and he drove with his Jeep. I remember this. And he's like holding my hands, but he's like holding both of them. Like he goes up to me with his hands like this, and I'm like, okay, and like put my hands up. And he like curls his fingers around my hands so that we're like holding hands. And then, y'all, oh my God, this was the weirdest thing that has ever happened to me with a guy in my life. He grabs my hands and he pushes them like all the way up, so my arms are above my head like this, and I'm like, what is going on? Pushes me up against his Jeep. I hit my head on the car window, like the mirror, and I'm like, oh my God. And then starts making out with me, and I'm just thinking to myself, God, I need this to stop. Like I can't, like, the way he texts and the way he's in real life is just so different. I can't do this. And I'm just counting down the seconds until Kelly walks back with Jonathan, like, please, Lord, let this not be a long time. And the worst part was that I could tell he had no idea that I was so uncomfortable, and he thought we were having a great time, like making out. And remember, I told y'all he's like kind of a weird kisser. I don't exactly remember what it was. I think he was like really sloppy or something about it. Like, I don't know. And I'm just like, oh Lord. So finally they walk back and I'm like, oh, I hear them coming. And I like put my hands down, step away. The next week, Ethan texts me and says, hey, you want me to pick you up and take you to school and we can get breakfast before school? Keep in mind, Ethan lives like 25 minutes away from me. So I'm like, oh, Ethan, like it's fine. Like that's a far drive, especially because my school started at 8:50, so we would have to leave like really early to like have breakfast too, and I'm not an early riser for school. And he's like, no, it's fine. So Ethan picks me up and I'm like, great. And we go to McDonald's because that's where we were gonna eat, but Ethan was late to pick me up, and I'm like, Ethan, like we don't have time to go inside anymore. Like I have to go to school because we had like the PSAT or something that we had to take, so I had to be at school on time. And I was like, yeah, like sorry man. And so he like buys my breakfast, we like eat in his car real quick, and then he drives me to school. And he pulls out a bag of Sour Patch Kids, and I'm like, oh, that's sweet. And he's like, because you told me that Sour Patch Kids are your favorite candy. And I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. And I give him a hug. And I could tell in his eyes he wanted to make out with me. And then he texts me when I get inside, and he said, I was really hoping for a kiss, and I was like, sorry, I just had to go. And it was at that moment that I knew I had to cut it off, because my mom told me you always give a boy 3 dates to prove himself. I was like, all right, he's had his 3 dates. I know what he's like. I'm not into it. So I texted Ethan and I was like, you know, Ethan, I'm just really sorry. Like, you're a really nice guy and you're gonna make some girl really happy, but it's not me. And he was like, are you sure? Like, I can change. And I'm like, no, don't change. Like, this will be great for some girl, but that girl is not me. And he was just like, okay, well, I'm really glad that I got to talk to a girl such as beautiful as you. And like, if you ever change your mind, like, we can definitely go out again. And I was like, thanks, Ethan. I will definitely consider that. So yeah, that was my weird guy that I went on a few dates with story. There was probably more funny things, but I can't remember. But to this day, my friends love to come up to me, pull my hair back 3 times, and whisper, "You are the most beautiful girl in the world." And like, literally, I just can't even stress the fact that he did that all the time. It was so weird. Oh my god. So yeah, that was my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more story times, then give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below any weird date experiences that you've had. I would love to know so we can laugh about them together. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!